Suddenly MI6, Mossad, CIA, NSA, Pentagon, Yakuza, and others all say something big is coming. Suddenly, all sorts of people who dropped contact after the March 11, 2011 Fukushima terror attack are trying to contact the White Dragon Society through this writer. This includes the top Yakuza assassin, a senior MI6 operative, an NSA representative from a new CIA faction, and others. They, together with our regular contacts, all agree that something big is coming. The most colorful character to renew contact was a Mr. K, who was introduced to this writer years ago by Japanese military intelligence as the top assassin for Yamaguchi-gumi Mutual Protection Syndicate. The diminutive and serene-looking Mr. K says his job consists of chopping people's finger off, one knuckle at a time, until he extracts the information he needs. He then grabs the bodies in lead and dumps them in the ocean. Sometime, Takamasa Kawase of Japanese military intelligence independently confirmed. It was associated of Mr. K, the daughter of former Yamaguchi No. 2 boss Masaru Takumi, who insists on meeting this writer on March 10, 2011 to set my mobile alarm to ring exactly 11 o'clock a.m. to March 11, 2011, the day of the nuclear and tsunami terror attack on Japan. Trucks were also spotted bringing large amounts of emergency relief supplies to the Yamaguchi-gumi's headquarters in the days before the January 17, 1995 Kobe earthquake, according to Kobe residents who live near their headquarters. As a result, their gang was far faster than the central government to provide relief supplies to quick-stricken residents of Kobe. Now, Mr. K says his group has become spiritual in nature, in that starting in late October, the world will be experiencing earthquakes, storms, and other disasters that will result in a large drop in the world's population before a happy new era begins. Mr. K was evasive about details, but did say something could happen in Japan before the October 22nd Japanese general election that Asian secret society sources say will result in the ouster of Kazarian slave Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Japanese gangsters have told this writer on numerous occasions that they get billions of dollars in payments from the Kazarian-controlled Bank of Japan in return for acting as their enforcers. It is clear that they have been told to do all they can to keep Kazarian proxies like Abe in power, under threat of new attacks on Japan with earthquake weapons. The White Dragon Society convey a message via Mr. K and others that should the Peter Freemasons and their bosses in Switzerland try another stunt like Fukushima, there would be serious retaliation. There are 3 nuclear weapons that have been placed in top Kazarian power spots by the Nazi Illuminati with the purpose of reminding them that mass destruction is a two-way street, Illuminati sources say. It has also been recommended by the U.S. military that they physically occupy the Bank of Japan and round up people distributing its money to gangsters. They know exactly who they are and where they are. Crown Prince Naruhito is ready to point out all of them if asked, say sources in 3-leg crowd secret society. In any case, Mr. K is not the only person predicting that something unusual is about to happen. The world's media, for example, have taken note of U.S. President Donald Trump's recent hints of ominous things to come. American sources explain that after the Las Vegas massacre and an Israel ambush that killed 4 U.S. Special Forces troops in Niger, Kelly summoned the Joint Chiefs of Staff and combatant commanders to the White House on October the 5th to bring all hands on deck to back Trump against the NFL, the Antifa, the Deep State, and the Cabal. The source continued by noting, even NSA bosses Admiral Mike Rogers and Pacific Commander-in-Chief Admiral Harry Harris were invited, as Trump said cryptically that this is the calm before the storm. The storm will be taking place in the form of mass arrest, the issuance of a new currency, the launch of a global currency reset, the sources say. Calm before the storm means the swamp is about to be cleaned out and they're all scared shitless. So we better take a picture. the CIA sources confirmed. The mass killing operation in Las Vegas and the accompanying corrupted media BS storm about a single, now dead killer being responsible was a fatal mistake by the Khazarian mafia. Many sources agree. The internet is full of videos showing the multiple shooters were involved, and calls for comprehensive revenge are being made. By promoting this obvious lie, the FBI, normally in charge of the Las Vegas investigation, has made itself a target of the U.S. military and other agencies. It has already been leaked all over the internet by insiders that casino mogul Sheldon Adelson and former Homeland Security Chief Michael Chertoff were planning to take a fortune by using this incident as an excuse to make metal detectors manufactured by a company they own mandatory at all concerts, bus terminals, etc. Instead, both men are now hunted, if not already dead. A different CIA sources says that Las Vegas is run by Chicago mob in that even honchos like Adelson and Chertoff are just frontmen for the Italians. It is Floridian nobility running the Chicago outfit and the remnant of the Jewish mafia. The Chicago outfit is involved in weapons, drugs, and money trafficking across the U.S.-Mexican border. John DeFranco is the top boss of the Chicago outfit along with his brother Peter DeFranco, the sources say. In other words, it is the fascist Peter Freemansons who were ultimately behind the Las Vegas Gladimo-style operation. The FBI is a Peter subsidiary, and you can expect tanks at their headquarters soon. Another Khazarian-controlled power that is under attack is their control of academia. To improve meritocracy to make America great again, Jewish bastions Harvard University is under the Department of Justice probe for overrepresentation of Jews in helping mediocre Jews like Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner steal admissions for more qualified whites and Asians, the Pentagon sources say. Also, Hollywood and the Democrats are ruling as the New York Times was ordered to do a hit piece on a fellow Jew. The serial sexual predator film producer and Major Hillary and Obama fundraiser Harvey Weinstein, the sources say. Of course, the New York Times story is just a tip of the iceberg, and you can be sure much more worse revelation about murder, rape, pedophilia, and human sacrifice rampant in Hollywood will come out. Donald Trump himself is clearly being pulled by opposing forces, while some CIA and Pentagon sources portray him as a hero who will drain the swamp. Other CIA sources say he's drugged and blackmailed. A clearly visible sign of a split in the U.S. government came last week when the CIA, speaking on the record, contradicted Trump's statements about North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un being a madman. The CIA made it clear that if a war was started on the Korean peninsula, it would not be started by the North. Now that the campaign to use North Korea as an excuse to start World War III is being undermined, the Khazarians are trying to reignite tensions with Iran as an excuse to start the Gog versus Magog end times war. However, Pentagon sources say the Iran thing is not going to happen either. The big reason for the rise in tensions in the U.S. is that the Washington, D.C. cooperation, not to be confused with the Republic of the United States of America, missed a payment deadline that came due on September 30th, its fiscal year-end, say MI6 sources. The U.S. government's budget has $1 trillion shortfall, and the situation was reached the point that, by its own estimates, its net worth is minus $65 trillion. The MI6 sources say that when the payment deadline was missed, an extension was granted that lasts until October the 17th. However, previous reports say that an extension was granted until December 15, so it's not wise to fix stage on a particular date. It is clear that this year is proving to be especially difficult for the U.S. cooperative government to find money to keep its operation going. Another reason the Khazarians are flirting with real bankruptcy and loss of power this time is the demise of their petrodollars. Saudi Arabian King Salman made the first ever visit by reignited Saudi monarch to Russia last week. The Saudis agreed to buy arms from Russia and reach many other deals, according to various press releases. Furthermore, the Saudis also talk about the possibility of ending the petrodollar by selling their oil for currency other than the US dollar, Pentagon sources say. This led the US military to issue a veiled threat to Saudis by suspending all military exercise with the Saudis and their allies. Pentagon still needs Saudi oil to run its machine and Saudi money to pay its salary, and thus will not allow the complete death of the petrodollar until a comprehensive global financial reset is in place, Pentagon sources explain. Another sign seen last week that something big was about to happen was the fire burning on the roof of the New York Federal Reserve building. If you want, you can believe the fat story that a generator caught on fire, but a good guess is that they were burning evidence before the US military makes their long overdue move to occupy that criminal institution. This autumn, we have a real chance to permanently end criminal Khazarian rule of the planet. If you are in position personally to take action, please do so.